Do you see repeating patterns, numbers, or even hearing songs, glimpses of the future right now, and have ever wondered what they mean, and even better still, how to interpret them? This is the language of signs and synchronicities. Welcome to the High Performance Consciousness Podcast. My name is Matthew Paddy, and again, I will be your host for today's episode. Before we dive in, if you are a subscriber and have not given any feedback or commented, given a review, then let me encourage you right now to stop this recording, stop this episode, and give me a review. Give me some 5-star ratings, because what I'd like to do is to have this reach more people on the planet, because the feedback I receive on a week-on-week basis is phenomenal. And I want to keep doing these, and I want to reach as many people as possible and help people understand the world that they live in. So go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, and please leave a review, as many 5 stars as you can muster up in the moment. Thank you very much. Let's dive into today's episode, which is all about reading and understanding, interpreting signs and synchronicities. Now, this is a big topic. It doesn't matter whether you come from a numerology background, an astrology background, a psychic background, or whether you're just interested in the field of patterns and numbers and how they relate to you and the pursuit of your dreams, the pursuit of your goals, the realization of your desires. So let's dive into this. When we start to think about patterns, you might see logos or symbols repeating, maybe numbers like 111, 444, 333, 171, 171, whatever it may be. You may even see objects that are appearing, same sort of color sequences. Maybe it's colors of cars or the types of conversations that you're having with people. There are signs and symbols and synchronicities occurring all day long. Now, do we pick them all up? Are they available to us 24/7? Yes, but do we observe them all? Do we notice them all? No, because at a conscious level, we observe and acknowledge a fraction of all the information that we receive on a moment-to-moment basis. We are receiving information at all bandwidths of energy, all bandwidths of reality. The subconscious mind sees more and understands and absorbs more information than the conscious mind. The conscious mind, through the rational mind, is the one that will pick and choose, almost like a smorgasbord. That's what I know, and that's therefore what I'm able to recognize as a pattern or as a sequence. So if that makes sense, then whether you're a coach, a consultant, an entrepreneur, a father, a mother, whatever it may be, there are patterns and numbers that you can observe and that are speaking to you all day long, giving you reference points as to what to dial into and what to dial out of, what to lean into more on from your thinking, your feelings and your actions and your behaviors, and what to observe and to take notice of to keep you aligned with your desired end, your desired or preferred reality. So let's think about it at the level of language. The universe speaks through the language of emotions. However, because the language of emotion is energy, then the basis of all reality is fractals and patterns, repeating patterns. And so when we think about a deeper language of fractals and patterns, it is supported by mathematics. So when we start to look at numbers and geometric shapes, songs even that appear or sound off in the car, or you might hear someone driving past, or someone else's sort of balcony if you're living in apartments or whatever it may be from there, and you'll get a pattern recognition, and it'll either take you into the future or it'll take you into the past. It'll remind you of a time. It might be the words, it might be the melody, it might be the numbers, it might be the patterning that you see, or the geometric shapes that you see in a logo or a design, as I've said before. These are all clues as to whether you are in alignment with your preferred reality. Now, how do you interpret them? Well, in this episode, I'm not going to go into what does 111 mean, what does 444 mean, what does ABCD mean, all those sorts of things. Seeing the flower of life or the egg of life or the seed of life, yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to go into all of those. You can search online. There's a lot of information. Do a wide search and then come up with your own conclusions. But what I am going to do is go into at a quantum level and a neurological level and a physical level at the level of matter, like gross matter, our physical body, and how we see the outside world. That's what I want to go to in this episode. So let's take a step back for a moment. Let's say that you've just had a new thought, a new idea about a product or a service or a positioning in your coaching program or consulting business. You have a thought, you have an idea, and it excites you. And you think, I'd love to do more of that. That excites me. I research it. I love talking about it. I love reading about it. I love watching about it. I love sharing about it. And most importantly, I love experiencing those areas. So there's an amplitude of energy, call it excitement or enthusiasm or inspiration, that raises your vibration. Now, at that point that you're thinking of it, let's say that all of a sudden a song comes on the radio and there's a key phrase within the song, the lyrics, that speaks to you. You might say, how did that happen at that time? How did that happen at that time to give me near instant feedback to either confirm or ask you to reaffirm your alignment based on your thinking and how you feel? Well, if we go back to the language of the universe, the language of the soul rather, is your emotions. The language of the universe is energy and mathematics. So if, for instance, that you are feeling aligned with something and then you are observing supportive symbols, signs, and synchronicities, then you are on path, you are on track, you are on destiny. So what that means is that you can see it as confirmation that you're on the right track, confirmation you are in right thinking and in right action. Does that make sense? Likewise, you may see signs or symbols, maybe numerology, maybe something else that asks you to question your thinking right now. Do I have right thinking? Am I in right action? Maybe you slipped for a moment, and maybe you're in self-doubt. Maybe with the idea of your program or the idea for taking your consulting business to the next level, you're starting to question, is that the right step for me? Is it the right path? Will anyone be interested? And so then you'll get signs and symbols that will reaffirm back to you your thinking. But most importantly, the language of the universe is love, is a love-based language. So you're not going to get something back if you interpret it from a higher perspective that says you're wrong, you're bad, it's never going to work, this is incorrect, and you're undeserving. It's never going to come back that way. That is an interpretation based on your belief system that is within yourself and layered within your subconscious. So if the underpinning language of the universe is supported by love, then that which you receive and see as signs and synchronicities and symbols outside of you, a lot of S's, is all supported in love. So are you on track? You are always on track. Are you aligned? You're always aligned. And I've had people ask me before, especially on previous episodes, saying, how can I always be aligned if I'm not enjoying myself? How can I always be aligned if I'm not getting what I want, the results that I want, the outcomes that I want? Well, you're always aligned to that which you are focused on. You are always aligned that which you are giving emotional energy towards. You are always aligned that which you are acting towards and behaving towards, if that makes sense. So you're always aligned, but the better question is, what am I aligned to? So signs and synchronicities confirm your alignment. Now, going back to the previous example, you feel great about this topic or this subject, and you want to lean into it even more. And as you lean into it even more, you start to share it. And as you start to share it, you get confirmation from the field that, oh, other people are interested. Or there comes a song, here comes some repeating numbers, here comes a symbol, whatever it may be. So you can then use the higher vibration of the elevated emotion to read into signs and synchronicities at a higher level of confirmation. Likewise, let's say that you want to move house and you've got plans to move, you've found a new place, and just before you move, in the weeks leading up to it, maybe the week leading up to it, things start to break. Keys start to bend. Mailbox falls apart. Tire gets, flat tire on the car. The delivery man arrives late, or whatever it may be. You could start to stack all of those examples as proof and validation that you're not meant to move. But that would be incorrect. Because if your desire to move has already been confirmed by a new place, by a new destination, then what is happening right now is the result of density being cleared. Now, what do I mean by that? It's the result of density being cleared based on you moving to a new destination, having made a new decision that maybe you have felt a little bit of doubt or fear over pushing on or moving on. Maybe you're feeling anxious or a little bit, overwhelmed with the idea of change or the concept of change, your own choice to change, your decision to change. So everything that is starting to unwind around you could be relationships. It could be things that are made of solid matter, as it were, cars and household items and those sort of things. Energy is starting to clear that was supported and bound to the old reality. Does that make sense? So there'll be a deconstruction phase before the new construction phase begins. So the deconstruction occurs at the level of energy, so that energy, once stored in those objects and things, maybe in those relationships, can be freed up and made available for the leap that you are now making into the new place, into the new business, into the launching of the new program. And as you observe it with a higher mind, a more objective mind, you can begin understanding that this is par for the course. This is part of the process. This is part of the plan. And so if you emotionally get embroiled and dragged into the debris, then it is your belief system that nothing ever works well for me, or I can never seem to get ahead, or yada, 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 all the negative self-talk. So now you do not have right thinking, you do not have right emotion, and you do not have right action. Does this make sense? So what you see around you is interpreted in a way that supports the old self, the old neural structuring, the old wiring within the body, and therefore the old signature energy that was promoting and permitting your old reality. There's some penny drops here for you. It happens with relationships very, very frequently. It happens in working relationships, intimate relationships, familiar relationships. It happens with your money. It happens with everything. Everything in the world of matter is made from energy. And so as energy is being redistributed and redirected to a new destination, i.e. your preferred reality, then what ensues, what begins unfolding, is the deconstruction of the old reality. Does this make sense? So now we start to look at signs and synchronicities that are aligned with our preferred reality, aligned with the destiny we prefer to experience and choose to fulfill through our state of being in this now moment. So although we might be waiting for the world of matter to catch up to our desires and the strength and level of conviction and belief that we have within ourselves, that our desires are already fulfilled using the power of our imagination and visualization, meditation, then there is no longer a patience game. Therefore, there is no duality that when I become lacking in patience, I am impatient, which means I'm now bound to time. So while the world of matter has to catch up, there are still signs and synchronicities to observe and to reaffirm your alignment. They come through numbers. They come through songs. They come through people, places, events, and circumstances. But remember, the language of the universe operates through fractals and mathematics. And so if everything is supported mathematically, it means that everything as energy is also speaking through the language of signs and symbols. Now, you can call yourself a modern-day alchemist. You can call yourself a modern-day shaman. You could look at it as omens. Omens typically are the foretelling of something. So signs and symbols and synchronicities are the foretelling of your alignment, should you choose to continue with the same thought, feeling, and action. Does that make sense? So an omen is, imagine a storm. You can see a storm on the horizon and it's still. There's no wind yet. It's still coming in. It's probably got maybe 30 minutes, an hour away. Very dark clouds. You know it's going to rain. There's potential lightning and thunder. Just before the storm breaks, wind arrives. You'll see the trees starting to increase their movement. The leaves start to rustle more. The wind is increasing. The wind is the omen of the storm's arrival. Now, it doesn't mean that it has to be a devastating storm, not using that as an analogy for you to park into the territory, the negative territory. Literally saying that the storm is the physical result. You know that's going to happen. You can see it on the horizon, and now you're waiting. And so now there are signs and symbols and synchronicities. Maybe there's a calmness. Maybe there's a stillness. Maybe there's a sudden drop in temperature after it being really hot, and now it starts to drop and get cooler. And then the wind comes, and you know that the storm is imminent. The storm actually represents the abundance. It represents the desires fulfilled. Because the cloud has a function, the rain has a function, the wind has a function. Can you see where I'm going with this, mystically speaking? So signs and synchronicities are part of our neural wiring. We observe and learn to recognize signs and symbols that support, number one, our beliefs, but number two, support our preferred choices and our desires. So our neurology then becomes active and activated to a higher octave so that we can start to observe more of what is around us. So if you're sitting here listening to me on this episode, chances are, if you are engrossed in what I'm saying, maybe writing notes, maybe getting major aha moments, did you observe much else in the room that you're sitting in or the car that you're sitting in whilst you were listening deeply? Chances are you weren't paying attention to anything else. Chances are you do not see all that is in your environment right now. You choose through selective bias, through a conscious bias, to see what you are permitting yourself to see. So the brain is wired to knowingness. The brain is wired to the known reality, which is what it's previously learnt, what it's previously acquired by way of knowledge through your previous experiences. But as you rest your awareness on new desires and new destinations and new outcomes, and you lean into those, right thought, right feeling, right action, then now what you begin observing is a synchronicity and a set of synchronous events based on your neural wiring now readapting itself to the new information that you are choosing to feed it. The subconscious mind does a great job at this. And I have spoken at length in lots of my episodes about the subconscious mind. So I'll leave you with that to think about. Your signs and synchronicities are confirmation from the base reality known as fractal patterns and mathematics to support you through a higher language of love, to guide you on your personal quest, your personal journey to fulfilling all that you want, all that you seek to express and experience. So I'll leave that with you for today. If you want to go deeper into this subject, then please let me know. Send me an email, support@matthewpaddy.com. And of course, I'd greatly appreciate if you can give me some star ratings and leave some reviews as well. We're getting close to, I think, 60 episodes now. So let's get the word out there. So from me here, in this field, to you, wherever you are in the universe, dream a better dream. And remember, it's all you, baby. See you in the field.